Hey, good morning. It's Saturday, February 22nd. Thanks so much for being here for another opportunity to discuss some everyday thoughts. And the thought I want to focus on today, this Saturday, as we enter the weekend, is how do you define sin? Well, you might say that's pretty easy. I know what sin is. Sin is, not doing good things, and it's doing bad things. Pretty simple. What's the problem? Well, if that is your definition of sin, your primary definition of sin, it will lead you to immense frustration, and it will block you from your relationship with God and cause friction with everyone around you. As a parent, if that's your definition of sin for your children, you are hiding from them what real sin is. See, when God starts talking about sin in broad terms and scope, he defines it in terms of being in relationship to him and honoring that relationship. So he begins the Ten Commandments, you shall have no other gods before you. All the other commandments flow out of that. When Jesus says, when he's tricked, the Pharisees are trying to trick him with the law question and legal question. They ask him, what is the greatest commandment? He tells them it's to love God with everything in you, all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on that. When Jesus is challenging the disciples in the Sermon on the Mount, he says you can't serve two masters. You'll either love the one or hate the other. Serve one or disdain the other. You can't serve God and stuff, God and money. It doesn't work that way. You see, sin at its root is not making God the premier thing in your heart, not making the honor of God the most precious thing for you. The psalmist defined sin in a way, defines sin in a way which helps us get clear that avoiding God is our sin. But in Psalm 73, we see these beautiful words, the nearness of God is my good. You see, if I desire nearness of God, even though he's with me all the time, if I desire that close communion and fellowship with him, then anything that's not that is sin. Anything I make, which even can be a good thing, and make it the ultimate thing, that is sin. So there are many things that we're doing that would not be considered sin or bad, but yet if it's the main thing that makes us work in life, it becomes very ugly, very self-centered. And self-centeredness, pride, is at the root of the things that we struggle with most deeply. So just think carefully now. Are you defining sin as not keeping a set of rules or not following a set of commandments? It may be that. But if that's how you define sin, then you miss the opportunity to see that what God has for us is to know him intimately and beautifully. And if that's not at the root of my heart and everything that I do, that, brothers and sisters, is sin. Let that thing sink in this weekend as you consider what you're going to be about. As you deal with the frustrations of life, are you looking for opportunities to bring honor to God or to be done with people or have had enough of it or to get even or I'm not going to take anymore? God calls you to rich, beautiful relationship with him. Knowing him in the midst of suffering, knowing him in the midst of our pain, knowing that Jesus died for us so that we could be close to God. Anything else is destructive and sin. But embracing God in this way, it makes us want to run from sin as fast as we can. Think about that this weekend and again, hopefully beyond. Let's redefine sin and see that sin is not making God the most precious thing in our life at all times. You have a great day. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll be back on Monday. Lord bless you. Bye-bye.